Hi everyone, welcome to IELTS Tutors. In this video, we're going to learn how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square method. As you may know, quadratic equations can generally be solved by one of the three methods, namely factorizing, completing the square, or using the formula. In this video, we will learn how to solve quadratic equations whose x squared term has a coefficient of 1 only. Let's start from question number 1. It says solve the equation for the values of x by completing the square. X squared plus 8x minus 33 equals 0. To solve it by completing the square, what we will do is, depending on the variable, we would write that variable without square and putting into bracket, and plus we're going to half the coefficient of the middle term, and half of 8 is going to be 4. So that's going to be x plus 4 squared minus, we need to take away the square of this number, which is going to be 4 squared minus 33 equals 0. And this is going to simplify to x plus 4 squared minus 16 and minus 33. They're going to add up to minus 49 equals 0. And then adding 49 to both sides is going to give me x plus 4 all squared equals 49. And I can then square root both sides. Actually, we have nearly done our job. It's going to be square rooting both sides. On this side, square and square root will get cancelled. So I'm going to get x plus 4 equals, and what would be the square root of 49? It can either be plus or minus 7. Then based on this thing, so at the moment the equation is saying that x plus 4 is either equal to plus 7 or x plus 4 is equal to minus 7. So I can say that x plus 4 is equal to 7, or x plus 4 is equal to minus 7. And then I can take away 4 from both sides of this equation, and that's going to give me x equals 3. Or from this equation here, I can take away 4 again, and that's going to give me minus 11. So the two values for the equations will be 3 and minus 11. Let's move to question number 2. It says x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. So again, the same practice. We're going to write x plus half of the coefficient of the middle term, which is going to be 2, x plus 2 squared. And then I'm going to take away the square of this number, which is the half of the coefficient of the middle term, which is going to be, like, you can straight away write 4 if you want to, or you can just write 2 squared minus 12 equals 0. And then I can rewrite this as x plus 2 all squared, and then minus 4 minus 12, that's going to give me minus 16 equals 0. Then adding 16 on both sides of the equation will give me x plus 12, x plus 2 squared, pardon me, equals 12, sorry, equals 16, again, pardon me. And then what we can do is we can square root both sides of the equation. And this, on the left-hand side, square and square root will get cancelled. And I'm going to get x plus 2 equals, on the right-hand side, I'm going to get plus or minus 4, because the square root of 16 can either be plus 4 or minus 4. And then I'm going to write x plus 2 equals 4 once, and or I can also write x plus 2 equals minus 4. Then I'm gonna take away 2 from both sides of this equation, which will give me 4 take away 2 will give me 2. Or I can take away 2 from both sides of this equation as well, so which is going to give me minus 6. The two solutions for the equation given above will be 2 or -6. Right, let's move to question number 3. It says solve the equation for the values of 5 by completing the square. Y squared plus 12y plus 11 equals 0. So in this one, instead of x, the variable y has been chosen. So we can write y plus half of the coefficient of the middle term, which is going to be 6 squared. And then I'm going to take away the square of this half the coefficient, which is going to be 36 plus 11. That will give me 0. And simplifying this will give me x plus 6. I rewrite as it is, but minus 36 plus 11 will simplify to minus 25. And adding 25 to both sides, I'm going to get y plus 6 all squared equals 25. And then I square root both sides. Square root will get cancelled on the left, and I'll be left with x plus 6 equals plus or minus 5. And as there is plus or minus 5, that's why I'm going to get two equations. Then, and these will be y plus 6 equals 5, or y plus 6 equals -5. Taking away 6 from both sides from this equation, I'm going to get y equals -1. And taking away 6 from both sides in this equation, I'm going to get y equals -11. So the two values of 5 for the given equations will be y equals -1 or y equals -11. Right. Let's move to question number 4. It says solve the equation for the values of x by completing the square. X squared minus 3x minus 1.75 equals 0. So I'm gonna, using the same technique, I'm gonna write x minus half of the coefficient of the middle term, which is gonna be 1.5 all squared. Take away, I'm gonna do 1.5 squared minus 1.75 equals 0. Right, so as we know that 15 squared is equal to 225, so that's why this will be minus 2.25. And take away 1.75, that will give me 4. So I'm going to get x minus 1.5 all squared. Take away 4 equals 0. Right, adding 4 on both sides will give me positive 4 on the right hand side, and on the left hand side I'll be left with x minus 5. Right, square rooting both sides will give me, and the square and square root get cancelled on the left hand side, so I'm gonna be left with x minus 1.5, and on the right hand side I'm going to get plus or minus 2. So the two equations I'm going to get will be either x minus 1.5 equals positive 2, or x minus 1.5 equals negative 2. So adding 1.5 on both sides, I'll get 2 add 1.5 will be 3.5, or adding 1.5 on both sides on this side will give me minus 2 plus 1.5, that's going to give me minus 0.5. So the two solutions for the given equation will be 3.5 or negative 0.5. Right, let's move to question number 5 now. It says solve the equation for the values of z by completing the square. And the equation is z squared plus 8z plus 16 equals 0. Right, so using the same technique, I'm going to write z depending on the variable and depending on the sign, plus sign, and then half the coefficient of the middle term, which is going to be 4, whole squared, and then take away this number squared, which is going to be 16 plus 16 equals 0. And then 16 and 16 will get cancelled. So I'm going to be left with z plus 4 whole squared equals 0. I'm going to square root both sides of the equation. And square rooting 0 doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to be left with 0 equals z plus 4, or z plus 4 equals 0. So taking away 4 from both sides is going to give me minus 4. And when I write this minus 4 there, it looks like that one value is missing. Actually, all of the quadratic equations, they're meant to have two solutions. But sometimes we get one solution, but in that case, that solution will be repeated. So it's a repeated solution. So minus 4. Thanks for watching the video. See you soon.